She keeps sending me spiritual pictures every day on a text.
And what's she saying today?
Well, it's a picture of Jesus, and he's knocking on a door, and it says, "Behold."
Oh, might need my glasses. Thought it was Demis Roussos. And have you replied?
Have I replied? Not yet.
Will you?
I usually say very nice.
Oh. You want to send her one of those disappointing affirmations?
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 396 of the Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast that worries about people's grannies in the future not being able to tell the difference between Squid Game and Coronation Street. I'm Gavin.
And I just want to know why we can't just kill all 5 of them now.
That would be a flash forward I think would be worth flashing forward to.
Right. To tomorrow?
Right. Enough of this April nonsense.
Right. Just kill them now.
How about later today?
Yes. Just right now, please. All 5. Just boom. Gone.
And that was the week that was Coronation Street.
Yeah.
Helen, tell me, what was your moment of the week?
When all 5 of them died.
Let's save, because this is gold, clearly. So let's save some of this for the body of the podcast, shall we?
I am of 2 minds about Maggie, but the other 4 definitely can go right now. Right now.
I can make a decent case, I think, for 6 of them going. I'd like Lily to die as well, please.
Oh! We're killing children now.
Yeah. Fictional children, no qualms. She's a fucking nightmare.
Well, then there's Mal.
7 then. How are you?
Apart from the dreadful week of Coronation Street, it's been an okay week. Been busy at work. Stella had her senior night for bowling, so that's yet another thing notched off that she's done with for high school.
This is a great thing about Michigan for people who have never been to Michigan and who will never be to Michigan. Or really the Midwest in general.
Come to Michigan.
You can be driving about in the middle of nowhere. For example, the town of Tecumseh.
Yeah.
South of Ann Arbor.
Tecumseh, I think.
West of Detroit. Middle of nowhere, there will be a fucking enormous bowling alley.
Yes.
Just there.
Just there.
Welcome to Michigan.
And it's hilarious because we also have a whole bunch of empty, decrepit bowling alleys scattered about as well. One which has just finally come down in the city of Lansing, in South Lansing, and it seems
really?
like...
Which one was that?
The one on Martin Luther King. The one across from the pet store that used to be a grain store. The big roundy one that was never open when we were here.
Oh, okay.
The one that's like half a street over from the strip club.
Okay, now I know where you are.
Okay. So
They do specials on Sunday, by the way.
that's because that's amateur night.
My friend Audrey knows people who have performed at Deja Vu.
My best friend paid for college as a stripper.
Seems to be definitely an option.
Yes. No judgment here. Except for bowling. No.
My previous experience of bowling alleys in Stirling in Scotland was it AMC bowling? I can't remember what the initials were, but it was just over the railway tracks in Stirling. And it was essentially just a big warehouse that had maybe 20 lanes. Maybe 20 lanes. The one that's at Royal Scot where Stella frequently has to bowl is like 40 lanes of 40 lanes of bowling, and they're all full.
Yeah, it's 40 lanes, plus they have an upstairs like banquet area and a giant arcade and a bar and restaurant. Yeah. And then they have like, oh no, I was thinking of Spare Time. Spare Time also has like, not 40, but like 30 lanes. And then they have a separate 8-lane party room.
Yeah. You have a party room.
Yes.
And my experience in Stirling was people go bowling to be shit at bowling, get drunk, and then go into town and enjoy the rest of your night.
Right.
But here it's like 40 lanes of people seriously bowling.
It's competitive.
It's very competitive.
We have leagues. People think the Flintstones were a myth. No. At least
No,
not
they
where
were.
at least not where the bowling is concerned.
Oh, okay. Because it was fictional.
Right, yes. We take bowling very seriously in America. And then on the East Coast, they have duck pin bowling, which is like a completely different other thing.
Yeah, that's kinky. That's where the pins are tied up. Anyway, shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that. Turkey, Corrie News. Gobble, gobble.
Vinta Morgan, a.k.a. our Ronnie, was working as a sanitation and pest control worker when he got the call that he'd gotten the role of Ronnie Bailey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I guess now we know where he's gotten those arms, those sweet, sweet arms.
What, from pest control?
From lifting heavy...
Cockroaches?
No, from lifting the heavy cans of poison that goes on your back and when you like spraying stuff and lifting stuff. Mazel tov to Jack P. Shepherd.
Oh, Helen's from Hull this week. This is going to be a long hour and a half.
I don't know where that even came from. Mazel tov to Jack P. Shepherd and wife Honey Treeweek, who are expecting their first child together.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Yes. Yes, a very, very sweet pictures on Instagram that I was able to see before I gave Instagram up for Lent. So...
Just like the disciples.
Yes. Instagram and Blue Sky. I'm giving them both up for Lent. So Stella inspired me because she gave TikTok and Instagram up for Lent. So
Such sacrifice.
well, she typically gives up peanut butter for Lent, but she figured that TikTok would be a better thing to give up because TikTok takes up more of her time than peanut butter.
Also, nobody will know if she gives it up or not.
I will.
How?
By walking into her room and seeing if she's on TikTok. Anyway, and finally, happy birthday to Vicky Myers, our Swain, who turned 50 this week. Can you believe it? She's 50. She doesn't look a day over 35. And that's Corrie News.
That's Corrie News. And that leads us into a rambling preamble here to our feedback section that I like to call Everyone's a Critic. Lindsay writes, hi, Helen and Gav. That's us. Just listening to the podcast this week, and you were discussing the possibility of a female serial killer. Emmerdale had one recently, and it was an amazing storyline. It really was. That was Mina. And
Yeah.
it was just after Mina that I think I stopped watching. But now I'm back. I really hope Gav is right on this one. Keep up the great work, guys, on this and the list of lists. That's our sister podcast.
Yes.
She says, although Achy Breaky Heart made my ears bleed last week. You both brighten up my week and make me smile. P.S. Also, Bad Bunny is hot. Listen to Helen.
Yes.
No chance. And Canadian Helen writes, I'm so sorry to hear about the passing of your dear cat, Mr. Black and White Spotted Kitten Broom.
Yes.
It's not easy when a pet leaves. They are a part of the family. May your memories of your dear cat be a comfort to you all. Thank you very much, Canadian Helen.
Yes, thank you so much.
The house is a little quieter without Mr. Black and White.
Yes. Not that he was loud.
No, but he did bother the other cat. And by bother, well,
No, just
you know.
stop.
And then Chris writes, more McBain and other Simpsons voices, please. This is after my, what do you expect me to do with this pea shooter?
And mine. And my, that's the joke.
Then
See,
David,
we don't get this kind of love when we do South Park voices. So,
it's more niche.
yeah.
Is it? Maybe
I
it
don't
is.
think it is. That's been... Did you see the whole, like, controversy about The Simpsons as far as Coronation Street is concerned?
I was expecting that to be in Corrie News, but...
Yeah, I read it after I'd already done Corrie News. So...
And you can't ever revise it.
That's correct.
Once it's written down, that's it.
That's correct. I've got a lot on my plate, Broom. but I'm mentioning it now. Mm-hmm. So that somebody said that The Simpsons was the longest running continuous primetime television show in history. And lots of people were quick to correct them that actually Coronation Street has been on much, much longer.
The Simpsons and Coronation Street, both not as funny as they used to be. And then Deirdre Reynolds says, sing it. I'm not too sure what about. But hey,
We were singing.
if you're a friend of the podcast, we'll sing it.
What were we singing last week? I did, a phrase of Simple Gifts because of List of Lists.
Can't possibly be
but
that.
that can't possibly be it. I feel like there was something else sing-songy last week, but I can't remember. Anyway, law.
And WJL Maroon says, I think Jodie is a serial killer of some sort, mainly because the soaps repeat storylines, and they've done the same thing on Emmerdale with a murderous younger sister, Mad Mina and Manpreet, and Jodie feels sort of similar to her character.
So the lady serial killer was a younger sister on Emmerdale as well?
Yes.
Well, now that sucks.
Come on now, this sucked before, didn't it? And Shiggy writes, I find nothing more disappointing this week than the fact that Debbie continues to want to do everything possible to make up for not claiming Carl as her son. This is deplorable writing because she already knows the evil things that Carl can do and doesn't seem to care. Debbie is a strong woman who so far has not been taken down by dementia, but her sentimentality towards the fact that her life is ending is causing her to make poor decisions. Oddly, I do like the new dynamic between Ronnie and Kevin. As two different versions of a heavy trying to shake Carl down and beat him up. I did enjoy that as well. I quite liked Kevin and Ronnie together.
Me too.
Kev is far more acceptable when Ronnie is also in the scene.
Yes. I love it when they tag team. It reminds me of the good old days when we had Phil with two L's and Tyrone tag teaming in a very different way.
And Chicky continues, I hate to say it, but I don't think I'm going to warm to the new version of Lily. She's just too much of an upper self personality. I agree entirely with that. Thank you very much to Cheeky, to WJL Maroon, to Debbie Reynolds. We will sing it. To Chris Horrocks, to Canadian Helen and to Lindsay for their feedback this week. It's very much appreciated.
It.
We good?
Yeah.
Feedback is always welcome. Send your thoughts and I will probably read them out. Get us at thetalkofthestreet@gmail.com, or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. And we love it when people write actual letters to us. Send us your proper mail to The Talk of the Street, P.O. Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827.
Did you check the box?
I did not. Did you?
No.
Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interests of brevity. And now we'll podcast for coffee. Drinking the wrong coffees this week. I am once more on the peace tea, but I've also got Pepsi. What do they call their Pepsi Zero? Is it Pepsi Zero? We've got Pepsi Zero here. Pepsi Zero
free.
Cherry.
Pepsi Free, maybe? Used to be Pepsi Free.
Anyway.
Because that was the joke in Back to the Future, where he asks for a Pepsi Free, and the guy says if you want a Pepsi, you have to pay for it.
That was some time ago, though, wasn't it?
It was. Oh, I've got pink grapefruit juice.
That's Pepsi Zero Sugar. Or Pepsi Max.
Yeah.
The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on YouTube. So if you think a show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it and want to show your appreciation, or if you want more weekly and monthly content, and if you want to help us get to our target of 50 friends of the podcast by our 400th episode, which is now 3 weeks away.
Only 2 more, guys.
That's right.
Just 2. 2 more.
And again, you can join, and then you can fuck right off again.
Yeah, but not until our 400th episode.
Head on over to corriepodcast.com, click on Support the Pod, then Friend of the Podcast. For $2 a month, you can get access to our weekly spoiler show, The Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, and our monthly classic Corrie show, The Talk of the Street Classics. This month we're talking about episode 2284 from February the 21st, 1983, the one where Ken throws Deirdre out. And if that wasn't enough, you also get access to our Discord server, a shout out at the end of every podcast, your name in the credits of the flagship show, and Helen and I will reenact a one-act play for you. If you prefer something a
And
little less
sing
formal,
it.
You can also buy us next week's coffee by clicking Buy Us a Coffee. Remember, you can always support the podcast for free. Get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating, and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. All right, shall we dive in?
Yes,
My
please.
dear, the first storyline, I'm just going to do Monday all together as one, and we're calling it The 6 minus 1.
Is that an homage to...
EastEnders.
Oh, I thought it was Godzilla minus 1.
No.
Or the Funky 5 plus 1.
On Monday. We haven't had a flash forward episode yet.
Except, of course, when we did with the whole Todd thing where it flashed forward and then back and then forward and back.
I think everything was essentially back, though. It flashed forward within the flashback.
Right.
I think it's still...
But it was like...
Still effectively back.
Because we saw the end result, and then it went back, and then it explained what happened, and then we saw the end result again, which I'm calling a flash forward. I mean, it wasn't flash forward to April, but this one was stupid, so...
We haven't had a flash forward episode yet, so let's do that now. Betsy's in the police interview room, and it's April the 23rd, 2026.
And
And
for
I think
some reason, everything's green. And sounds like a submarine.
And it does mean that we're going to have to put up with these 5 people for another couple of months.
Which fucking
It
sucks.
does suck. Betsy's in a bridesmaid's dress or a fancy dress. But not a fancy dress. She's not dressed like a clown or anything.
No, but she's got a poof on her shoulder.
She does. You might want to explain what you mean by that.
By poof? Mm-hmm. She has a gay man right there on her shoulder.
Oh, that is what you meant. Okay.
No, it's like a big poofy rose sort of thing.
A flower of some description.
Right, which is poofy.
She's been interviewed because she's discovered a dead body that she refers to as it, just so we can't gender the dead body and thus eliminate half of the people that we suspect to die.
Technically, a body isn't it. It is an inanimate object. She's fine.
No, she's not. Her and the cops, because the cops later refer to the body as they. This was somebody, this body you found. Do you have any idea why somebody would want them dead?
All right, that was awkward, but I have no objections to calling a dead body, which is an inanimate object, and it.
It's 100% just there so she doesn't use a pronoun. That's why she said it. And it was clunky as hell. She's found it after coming back from town with a mate after the wedding. She's a bit hazy though. Says that she heard it, but then says that she saw it, which I thought was either a deliberate mistake or maybe they were...
Maybe she
Maybe
heard
it doesn't
something.
maybe it doesn't mean anything at all.
Maybe she heard something and then she saw something.
She confirms that she knows the victim, but doesn't answer when asked if she knows why anyone would have killed them. This is also the day of Swain and Carla's wedding, so we've got that to look forward to.
In April.
But the cops look at each other when Betsy mentions it, because she says that it was a wonderful day, but then the cops kind of look at each other and go, "Rrr."
Arr.
The last time something nice happened to them, Becky showed up. Now they get married and someone dies. The rest of Monday basically goes through the potential victims, but also some of the culprits, perhaps. Because I think this has been pitched in the media as these are the 5 potential victims. One of these people is going to die. But I think one of those 5 people is also probably going to be the killer.
Yeah, because, I mean, and maybe they all kill one another.
Because to my mind, Maggie's killing Megan is
Right,
the
yeah.
most obvious option.
And Jodie's going to kill Carl, or Carl will kill Jodie. So that just leaves somebody to kill Theo?
Just one of them's dying, though.
Right. But wouldn't it be fun if all 5 of them died?
It would be marvellous if they all shot each
Like-
other like the end of Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Or like if it's like a reverse of Murder on the Orient Express, where instead of everybody killing one person kills everybody.
No. That is an opposite.
Sorry for spoiling the end of The Murder on the Orient Express for anybody who hasn't read the book that's like 80 years old or seen the movies that are 50 and 20 years old.
I think you just could have said spoiler alert there and that'd have been fine.
I don't think you can really spoil Murder on the
But
Orient
that's what
Express.
you were doing though, wasn't it? You're doing a long version of spoiler alert.
Yeah. But then I'm also judging people who don't know the end of the Murder on
These-
the Orient Express.
These fictitious people.
These fictitious people.
The people that are currently banging on their window saying, "What are you fucking spoiling Murder on the Orient Express for?
Look.
You'll be spoiling Death in the Nile next."
I've already looked down my nose at people for their literary assumptions on another podcast this week.
You
so,
have listened to our other podcast for Helen being judgy.
Yes.
I would very much like more than one of these people to die, especially after this week where the show seemed hell-bent on making them all be as appalling as possible.
Except for Theo. We don't get any Theo this week, do we? Except
do.
for Monday.
Yeah, we get one on Monday.
Yeah, that's it.
And he is awful.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Megan is the worst this week, though. I really want her to die.
Yeah. Slowly and painfully? Yes,
Yes,
please.
yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Let's start with the Todd one then. So Todd gets back from a run despite his messy feet from last week, and when asked, he tells Theo that he ran 7 miles. So Theo rewards him with 7 English pounds.
Fuck off.
Theo then tells him that he fucking stinks and goes off to work. Cheerio! Todd quickly hides his 7 English pounds in his little tin that he keeps hidden in the cupboard at eye level.
Yes, that's a great place to hide things.
Especially when there's a tall man in the house.
Right?
Maybe hide it at foot level.
Right, yes. Or, someplace that Theo never goes. Like, inside a book.
I was wondering if this is what they were trying to do, though. Was they've been painting Todd as being the person who cooks. So therefore he's the one who's usually in the kitchen cupboards.
Right.
But I think Theo's still likely to go into a cupboard every now and again.
Correct.
You'd want to put this somewhere where he's never going to look, like the cistern of the toilet or something like that.
Yeah. Or anything that requires thought.
Didn't he read before? No, that was Millie, I think. Because,
Yeah. I know.
Later, Todd comes home and goes to the cupboard and sees that the tin has been moved, but the money is still in it. So he hides it again in the same place just as Theo comes in, and Theo is off a mood to belittle Todd quite a bit, telling him that maybe he should get a junior savers account rather than a joint account.
Go fuck yourself.
He wonders
First
why...
of all, the bank won't allow that because he's too old. I know that's not like the main problem here, but I was just reminded of the fact that, one of our children had a junior savings account and got booted from it toot sweet once he turned 18.
Theo wonders why Todd's such a fucking pussy. And then he reminds them that they need to get to the registry office to book their wedding for March. So we've got a wedding coming up in March.
I
maybe.
hope not.
After that, says Theo menacingly, there's no getting rid of me. Todd, who's doing the dishes at this point, is holding a knife and doing some sums in his head. And then we flash forward.
Okay.
I quite like that. I'm going to keep that. We learn that Will now is being released on bail. And I should say at this point,
Wait, that didn't happen on a flash forward, though.
well, the screen does the flash forward thing.
Right, yeah. Which is dumb.
All of this, the way that they tell this story is they give us Betsy's bit in the police station first, and then it goes to the street and just things happening. And I was under the impression that this whole
Whole
episode
thing
was
was
going to
supposed
be
to
a
be-
flash forward.
Right.
So I was like, oh, Christ. So in April, this is... Nothing has really advanced. This is all still... Will is still
Right.
seeing Megan, and Theo's still alive, and all this pish.
But it's not because it's not green and there's no, beeping in the background.
No, the only flash forward bit is the bit with Betsy in the police station.
Right. In the green.
So, we learn that Will has been released on bail. In the pub, Ollie hears a suggestion that maybe Will is guilty of this, but Ben will hear none of it. When he goes off to the cop shop, Ollie confides in Eva Cakes that something isn't right with Will.
Yes.
At the cop shop, Will is released and he and Ben are surprised to see Maggie there, who has given an alibi for Will, saying that he was with her the night that Daniel got twatted over the head. No one believes this because everyone knows Roy was taking Maggie to the rape hotel that night.
Correct.
Meanwhile, Eva has a word with Megan, who admits that she doesn't know if Will twatted Daniel, but Daniel thinks that Will has a crush on her and it was through jealousy, maybe, that he did the twatting. So a bit more information than she needed to give there.
Right, yes. And information that in hindsight probably will bite her in the ass.
Let's hope so. When Will comes into the pub, Daniel is outraged that he's been let go. Maggie says that he has an alibi and Daniel's quick to accuse the Irish people of lying to the cops. He dares Will to look him in the eye and deny twatting him over the head.
How dare you, Daniel? Don't you know that most cops are Irish? Okay, maybe that's just in Boston.
And Ireland.
And New York.
And gives him a shove, so Ben throws him out. Come on, Megan, we don't need to drink in this stupid pub anyway, says Daniel. Come on, woman.
Ugh.
Privately, Eva tells Ben that she isn't happy about all these lies, but he says that he doesn't care as Will is definitely innocent. Maggie, though, confronts Eva privately, calls her an interloper into her family, and warns her that she'll do anything for her boys, including giving up her life, which isn't creepy at all. And then we flash forward. And we get 2 flash forwards for the price of 1, because we see Megan with a fringe and a bloodied nose.
Yes.
And Maggie trying really hard to look menacing.
Yeah, I almost didn't recognize Megan with the fringe.
Neither did I.
It's like she's a completely different person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, who is this person supposed to be? Oh, I guess that's Megan, and she has a bloody nose?
Yeah.
Yeah, the less said about Maggie, the better.
And the less said about the fringe, the better.
You're not a fan of a fringe.
No.
I haven't had a fringe since we've been married.
You're welcome. And nor have I. Carla is behaving oddly and insists on meeting Swain later. At the rape hotel later, Carla announces to Swain that there's been a cancellation at the hotel on April the 23rd, that she's booked for their wedding.
Da, 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 da.
Ryan is hovering in the background with champagne and flutes, and Swain looks like she could go either way, so he doesn't know whether to bring it out or put it
which
back.
is funny. I liked that.
Yeah, me too. But then Swain reveals that she's actually thrilled, and she's only disappointed that it's not happening sooner. I wasn't sure if I believed her, but there was a couple of clips where she really genuinely looked happy. So
Yeah. She doesn't seem like the kind of person who likes being rushed into things and also doesn't like to be told what to do. And there is an aspect of this where Carla has already more or less made the decision. So I can kind of understand why there's a little bit of hesitation there.
there was hesitation.
But I can also understand Lisa saying, you know what? I slept with my ex-wife. I'm going to give Carla this.
I slept with my ex-wife. I was running away to Spain with her. Maybe we'll let Carla have this.
Right.
Good for her. Sally catches wind of this and looks forward to the fireworks. And it's interesting that she uses the word fireworks, Helen, isn't it?
It is, because in the flash forwards, all of these dead people are looking at fireworks.
Not all of them are dead. I know we're trying to will this we're trying to will this into existence.
I'm trying to manifest
I can tell.
death for all 5.
You have a manifesting look on you.
I do.
In Nina's roles, Carla's trying to act cool with Jodie, somewhat annoyed that she didn't stand up for him when Shona was having a go at him last week. Poor petal. She insists it's fine, but then ushers him away quickly when David comes in and she's all sweetness and light with him. Later at home, Jodie has been paid and wants to do something nice for David and Shona and offers to treat them to a fancy dinner. Ooh, romantic dinner, says Shona. But Jodie books a table for three.
That was hilarious.
The two of them in the background turn to look at her.
Right. And that was the funny part.
At the dinner, Shona's nipped off for a shite, which allows Jodie to say vaguely weird things to David about relationships. When their dinners arrive, Jodie says that she always seems to want what Shona gets. Wait, what? Says David. But Jodie is talking about Shona's fish and chips. Or is she? And then we flash forward. Abby and Kev now come into Nina's Rolls, all pals again, as they discuss Kev's confusion about a left-hand drive car coming in. Oh, isn't this cosy, says Carl. Abby invites Carl to go fuck himself and warns him to look in the mirror before he ends up a very lonely old man. In the pub later, Kev goes in for a pint. Carl's already there and is already blootered and going on about how Kev isn't his brother anymore. Kev pushes him away, tells him that he's lost his woman, his job, and is essentially homeless. And this is totally karma. Carl has got what he deserves. And then we flash forward. And what we see now is... I think it's meant to be like Saw. I think it's meant to be like Saw, where you see all of the victims and the camera kind of goes round them really quickly and jitteringly. And they're all sort of looking either scared or injured or angry or Maggie. And and the camera spins and spins and goes quicker and quicker. And then it kind of settles as fireworks are going off in the night sky. And there's a scream. And then we see that the cabin lights are on. Fucking Rita. And that's what happens in the flashback episode.
Flash forward.
Whatever.
I fucking hate this.
I don't like it at all.
No. It's pointless. It's pointless. Like, ooh, this is going to happen, but not until April.
Mm-hmm.
So why tell us?
Right. Do you know when you can tell us this?
In April.
April.
Yeah.
Tell us in
it's
April.
like, because it's not even like, because, you know, there was a lot of build up to Corriedale. But that, let it go, Broom.
No, never.
But that was a very special episode, like this epic event and everything.
It was.
And it was more or less, I mean, it had ties to what came immediately before and immediately after. But it was more or less contained. This is, ooh, we're going to do something in April.
But we're not going to tell you what. Well, we are going to tell you what, but we're not going to tell you who.
Right. And, you know, it's the 5 worst characters.
Mm-hmm.
More or less. The 5 characters we wish dead the most. You know, minus Lily and Mal and Daniel. But...
The 8.
But...
Imagine the camera spinning around 8 people.
God.
It's never been done before.
It's just... And yet it has on a different soap opera.
With 8 people? Don't think this has ever been done with 8 people before. Because that's how they're trying to make this different from the 6. Because there's not 6.
It's 5. But it's still the same thing.
And EastEnders did it over a year and we're doing it over 2 months. So it's different.
Is it though?
No.
Thank you.
No, of course it isn't.
It feels like we're throwing an awful lot of flashbang. Wahoo. Wazza. We're just going to do... We're distracting you with pretty lights and fancy sleight of hand.
Yeah, and this is my concern about what the next couple of months are going to look like because because we're already doing it. We're already making it look like, well, this is the person that's going to kill that person.
Right.
We've got Maggie arguing with Lauren and Ollie. Mm-hmm. We've got Kev and Ronnie beating up Carl.
But Maggie is a psycho all around because she treats Steve the same way she treats Lauren, and it's weird.
Right. But, you know, this is only going to get ramped up over the next couple of months where some of this isn't going to pay off. They're going to make this massive deal about potentially 5 victims, and there can only be 1, apparently. There's no rule that says there can only be 1. But
and if people die between now and then, it's not going to be one of those 5.
Unlikely.
Yeah. But other people can die. Just putting that out there.
So if they don't tell us that this is going to happen, and we just watch this unravel as it's going along, we're not really thinking about it maybe as critically as we are knowing that this is leading to a murder.
Right.
it's a kind of future whodunit
Right.
sort of
it's
thing.
so far away that I'm not going to care. I'm going to forget about it next week.
I don't think they're going to let you forget about it because this is going to be so heavy-handed and so on the nose. I just think they make a rod for their own back with this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And like I said, was it last week or was it in the spoiler? I can't remember. You can almost forgive it for a flashback because a character thinking about something, like pushing their husband down a heavily carpeted stairway,
Right. To his death.
is a thought that Maggie has. And the fact you get to see it happen, narratively, you can make an excuse for that happening.
Right. Yes. Because it tells us something about Maggie that we wouldn't know.
And it's something that is in her mind.
Right.
But
And it's something that you kind of hope may someday come out.
But you can't do that with a flash forward because that requires somebody to have the gift of second sight.
Right. And because the flash forward episode is only these oddly tinted and sounded scenes with Betsy, where we don't even really see anybody else's face. And we don't see all of Betsy's face all the time. You know, because we're kind of looking up at her from the knee of the detective who's talking to them for most of it. And like you said, it's only these small scenes in between that don't really give us much, except for there's a dead body and Carla and Lisa are married. And there are fireworks.
Right.
That's all we get. It doesn't tell us anything else.
No, the only thing that it really does is make sure that the rest of that episode is setting up our potential victims. Because that's what it was.
Kinda.
I think it rather clumsily was exactly that.
Right.
I saw some comments online, people praising the cinematography of this, and I was like, oh, that's a big word to be using for just these poorly lit scenes in a police station. Why is the police station so dark?
And green. And why is there a consistent beeping like sonar in the background?
It's just, I don't know. If this is what you want from your soap operas, have at it. It's fine.
It's not what I want.
This
though.
is not a taxi. It's a bus. This is for everyone.
Is it though?
Well, it's meant to be. And there are parts of the show that I think are more aimed at me or us and what our sensibilities are for the show. I think it's less and less as the more we do this. I think we were maybe saying 5 years ago that it needed to be funner,
More fun.
and have more comedy in it, and now it feels like there's less of that. And it started off this year, I think, with a better balance, and the end of last year a little bit.
Right, yes.
Where there was more funner things happening.
More fun. Funner's not a word.
I know, but you're just going to have to let me say it because I'm insisting on saying funner.
Yeah, well, it's like, you referenced the Squid Game quote earlier. And it feels like the people who said that stupid, your granny's watching Squid Game, so we have to make it more like Squid Game. Yeah, it feels like Ian McLeod and the other people who have not said the Squid Game quote, but are all for this mentality, have kind of lost the plot, because you need a little bit of everything to make the world go round. Nobody is watching Squid Game and only Squid Game.
No.
First of all, there's only 2 seasons? There's 2 seasons.
Was there 3? I thought they made a third.
Okay, so maybe 3 seasons. And that's it. Coronation Street, as we've talked about, has like over 11,000 episodes. They're not the same things. And we don't want them to be the same thing. We want something, especially in the time that we are all living in, we need escapism that's not dystopian. And that's what Coronation Street is supposed to be. Escapism that doesn't make us think that we're going to have to kill one another for healthcare.
The quote that was in, I think it was the Digital Spy, is Ian McLeod saying, "What we don't want is to be left behind. If your mum's now watching Squid Game on Netflix, you don't want those viewers to turn on Corrie or to turn on Emmerdale and it looks like a completely different century or genre even. We want to evolve our look so it retains some of the cinematic flavours that we saw in Corriedale." And there are three things that jump out at me from that. One, Squid Game was 5 years ago.
Right.
So it's not cutting edge.
No.
Two, Corrie isn't the same genre.
No.
It's not meant to be the same genre.
Exactly.
So it's okay that these two things don't
Are
look
not
the
the same.
And three, I don't think anyone's complaining that the production values of Coronation Street aren't modern enough.
No.
I don't think that's what anyone's complaining about.
If anything, and I say this with love, it feels like the more they try to modernize the look of Coronation Street, the more dated it looks. Because they don't have Netflix money.
No.
They don't have HBO money. They don't have Warner Brothers money, which isn't even Warner Brothers anymore. It's Warner Discovery, but whatever. It's okay to just look normal and not try to do all these fancy things that you think you have to do in the modern era. Because there's plenty of other things on HBO and Netflix and etc. that don't have all the bells and whistles. And people love them anyway. You know? There are other shows that are just regular shows with regular people and they don't require flashbacks or flash forwards or weird lights or beeping noises, etc. I mean, look at Adolescence. Adolescence, the only flashy thing they did was the continuous camera movement. And it's artistic, but it's not flashy. It was just a story about relatively normal people, and that's what made the impact of that story.
Yeah, a great story and great acting, and the only gimmick that they had actually served the story.
Right. Yeah, you can do that. But if you try to throw all of this stuff into a story where it doesn't make sense and it's not really part of the story and it actually distracts from why people watch your show, nobody's going to watch your show anymore. Except for us, because we do a podcast.
I think it's chasing viewers that I'm not sure exist.
Yeah. They're trying to chase the modern equivalent of like 12-year-old you who used to sit and watch with your gran. And we don't live in that world anymore where you sit and you watch television with your family. Even for us, and we all kind of watch relatively the same things. Like, we both watch Coronation Street, obviously. We don't watch it together, and we don't watch it on the same screen.
No.
And there will be times that there are 4 people in this house watching 4 different things on 4 different screens. And that's the world we live in. And you can't chase the kids with flashbang and stuff, because Gen Z sees through you a lot more than any other generation, I think. So you're not going to capture them, and you're not going to capture, everybody's mom. You're going to capture some mums, and you're just going to have to be happy with that. Because if you go chasing other people, then the people you already have are going to leave.
Yeah. And that I think is the bottom line of it. And
yeah. I mean, look at how many listeners we have who write to us and say, I don't watch the show anymore, but I still listen to you guys because, because you're hilarious and I like you. That's what people say. They say, Gav and Helen, we don't watch the show anymore, but we still listen to you because you're hilarious and we like you. That's essentially what they're saying.
Helen's paraphrasing a little bit, but we'll let her away with it because I think she said a lot of correct things there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's my feelings in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Is that it's like you are trying so hard to chase other viewers that you forget the viewers that you're there to serve.
Right.
Or I listened to the interview from which that quote came, worried that it was taken out of context. And it wasn't really. Ian McLeod talks about Squid Game quite a bit.
Why?
Goes and talks about, well, Twitter doesn't like it, but Twitter's only 1% of the viewers and all that sort of thing. And I think that's quite dismissive as well, because he's right. Not everyone who watches Coronation Street is on Twitter, and not everyone who watches Coronation Street who's on Twitter tweets about Coronation Street.
Right, yeah.
So it's a subset of a subset of a subset, and it probably is 1%. Although I don't know how you would measure that, but let's call it 1%. But if 1%, if that 1% are very vocal one way or the other, it seems very dismissive to say that that isn't representative of a wider group.
And it's also kind of things like the whole Becky thing only exist because of...
Well, I'm sure they would argue differently.
Right, yes. But an awful lot of stuff comes from speculation on social media, not just the Nazi one, but the other ones. And for example, for Corriedale, they had that whole poll on Instagram, vote for your favorite to be on the show. So they feel like they want to feed the social media crowd and dismiss the social media crowd with the same hand.
Yeah, so his advice is just to ignore it. And if you're going to read Twitter, read it for the memes. And if I was in his position, I'd be doing exactly the same. Because if you read Twitter, you think everybody hates your show. And that's not the case. People like the show. We like the show. I want it to be better, but I still like it.
Right.
But
we still like the majority of the characters.
But if you were to base your opinion purely off social media, you would think, you wouldn't get out of your bed. But anyway, we've talked, I think, long enough about that. So let's move on to the rest of the storylines that happened this week.
I feel better, don't you?
A little bit.
Yeah. But now it's going to be...
I'd still rather just go to my bed and talk about the rest of the story.
Yes, but now it's going to be so much worse because we have to talk about the rest of the week.
And the next storyline is Sister from the Same Mister. On Tuesday, Lily's on the scrounge for 10 quid. David tells her to bolt, but Jodie secretly palms her some cash. Later in the cabin, Lily's still harping on about getting money, only now it's 15 that she's after because she wants interest. David tells her to fuck off again, so Lily bullies Brian into giving her the vacant paper girl position. Seems newspaper delivery is alive and well in Weatherfield. Thank fuck she'll be out of my hair in the morning, says David. On Wednesday, Lily starts a new job delivering papers, but it's far more boring than she could have possibly imagined, so she ends up dumping the papers in the bin in the precinct. I now hate Lily. And it wasn't specifically this moment, but this week really makes me hate Lily.
The entitlement is just ridiculous.
It's astonishing.
And it did start from the day that she locked that door and left poor Sam out in the hallway. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't stopped.
It really hasn't.
It really hasn't. It's just gotten worse. It's just snowballed from there.
Hope finds the papers and returns them to the cabin, hoping that this will stand her in good stead for the Duke of Edinburgh award that she's apparently going for. She offers to help Rita to the pub to get pished with Mary later, and Rita tells her to go fuck herself, she can manage just fine.
Right, yeah, she doesn't need help walking.
Is this a new Hope we're seeing? In this story, Mary and Brian talk for far too long about the novel The Woman in White, but Mary wants to talk about The Woman in White Tights instead, which was a bitter disappointment, much like the conversation. Do you know, I like Mary, and I like the silly Mary stories that she tells. But the last couple of times they've had her talking with Brian, she's been outrageously angry for no reason.
Yeah.
And she's shouting at him about this book that he's not talking about.
Right. And also that she's probably misremembering. Mm-hmm. And also, it's not funny.
It went on for far too long.
The timing was off. The tone was off, and it just wasn't funny.
No.
We like it when Mary is funny. Like, remember that time she did that dance?
Oh, I'm going to sit back and enjoy this.
It's not threading. It's flossing.
Flossing, there we go.
Yes.
Oh, you remembered that far quicker than I was hoping. On Thursday, Brian batters on number 8's door wanting to disembowel Lily for what she did to those fucking papers yesterday. She disappears up the stairs of Discovery. Later, Lily bitches and moans about this to David at Nina's Rolls, but Jodie jumps in and insists that Lily's sorry. Lily is not sorry.
Lily is so not sorry.
So later, Jodie drags Lily round to the cabin to apologise, but she ends up asking for her job back and then asking to be paid for the job that she didn't do. Rita goes to throw her out, and Lily tells her and Brian to stuff their fucking job up their arses.
Right.
Up their arses. Hope is helping out at the cabin and bears witness to all this chicanery and is appalled. Concurrent to this, Carl, who is at the cop shop in another storyline, suddenly appears in Nina's Rolls to chat up Jodie and arrange getting his hole. David is in earshot and warns Carl off, telling him that Jodie's got enough on her plate without his semen. Jodie seems taken by David's defence, but ends up getting her hole with Carl after all. I think just so David will catch them, which he obviously does.
Yeah.
David throws Carl out, or tries to, and tells Jodie that she can do so much better, which she likes the sound of.
Right, yes, which she totally misinterprets as David being better.
On Friday, in Nina's Rolls, Lily is still complaining about Brian and his stupid book. Hope comes in and says it's hardly surprising that Lily was sacked after she dumped the papers, and says that she gets on fine with Rita and Brian and his stupid book. Jodie wonders what they say about Hope behind her back, which was really nasty.
And was also kind of weird because Jodie doesn't know Hope.
No. So later, Hope's in the cabin making tea when she hears Rita and Brian talking about Hope's past and her lunatic father. And she doesn't react well to this and doesn't hang around long enough to hear that, well, Rita is praising her, but Brian isn't really.
Yeah, she hears Rita say the good part, like, you know, she had a really rough start, but now she's grown up so well. And it's funny, you see this look on Hope's face where at first she's starting to get cloudy. Mm-hmm. And then she brightens up with Rita. But then Brian opens his mouth and it's just, he can't help himself.
Somebody needs to throw more cans at that man's head.
Yes.
So Hope doesn't react well to this, storms off in a huff, and she makes a comment about Brian's stupid book. Later, in the dead of the night, the alarm goes off in the cabin and someone breaks in and steals Brian's stupid book.
Which doesn't make any sense because obviously Brian would have taken it home to continue reading.
Yeah, why would he leave it?
He
just
wouldn't,
lying out there.
He wouldn't just leave it at work. That doesn't make any sense.
So it's Lily that's stolen it, I assume.
I thought it was Hope.
You think?
Yeah.
I think we're meant to think it's Hope, which makes me think it's Lily.
I don't know. It is a young woman's legs.
Yes. And that's as far as we get with that this week. So this story about our interloper and our single white female and our fatal attraction sort of thing, this is who Jodie is now then.
Yes.
Well, that's disappointing.
And it also seems like she enjoys winding people up, even people she doesn't know. Because we see her do this with Hope. And we'll see her do it with another character in another storyline later, which is going to have dire consequences this week and next week.
Jodie will say in another storyline that she's here to get what she deserves.
Right.
And get what she's owed.
Right.
That sounds like what she wants to do is destroy everything that Shona has.
Right. And take it.
And take it for herself.
You know, in fairness to both Hope and Lily, the one part of The Woman in White that Brian decides to read aloud was very boring. It was about tea, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Well, it was 1800s. It was 1850s, in fact, I think, wasn't it?
Wilkie Collins?
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were early 20th century.
No, this is definitely 18th century. 19th century. This was the birth of the sensationalist novel, wasn't it? Was this one of the first detective novels? I think it was. I think this was the blueprint for modern detective stories.
Oh, yes.
1850 maybe? 1855?
Yeah, Wilkie Collins died in 1889 with a very impressive beard, so look at that. Look at that man.
Holy shit, that is a beard.
I mean,
that's a man who doesn't have a razor.
Even the young Wilkie Collins was sporting the impressive beard.
A young Fidel Castro there.
Yeah. A little bit. 1824 to 1880. I don't know why I thought he was like...
When was the book written?
I don't know. I looked at Woman in White, 1860.
Oh, that was reasonably close.
Oh, and the Moonstone was 1860. I don't know why I thought he was more contemporary with Agatha Christie, but I stand corrected. I'm not really a Wilkie Collins person.
No, nor me. I just know that this is one of the books that started the genre, I think.
Of detective novels?
Yeah, and sensational novels of the 19th century, like Jekyll and Hyde. Although that came later.
Yeah, not by much though. I think Poe did it first though, didn't he? With the Poe is supposedly the first detective story was Poe's the Murders in the Rue Morgue. This is the kind of nerd we are. 1841, Murders in the Rue Morgue.
Oh, well, there you
so,
go.
Ha, Wilkie Collins and your stupid beard.
And of course, detective novels existed much before all of this.
Right, yeah. So,
In antiquity.
right, yes. But Murders in the Rue Morgue, the first modern detective story. Detective Dupin. And it's definitely the first murder story where the murderer was an ape. Spoiler alert for Murders in the Rue Morgue.
Fuck off with your spoiler alerts. All right, we'll move on to Sucks to be a Webster then. On Tuesday, Carl is standing in the middle of the street on the phone planning an arson attack on the Rape Hotel loudly when he's interrupted by Ronnie, who backs up Ryan and confirms that Carl is fired. Carl wants a severance package, so Ronnie invites him to suck on his balls and tells him that he's entitled to nothing.
Sever this package, says Ronnie.
Yeah, and then makes a boo motion.
Yes.
Meanwhile, in prison, Debbie is recognised by someone who could be Lauren's mum for all we know, but is called Paula. Debbie causes some confusion when she calls Lou Abby, and Lou warns her that kind of alias talk can get someone a kicking in here, so Debbie had better watch her mouth. Debbie has to admit that she has dementia. At the Rape Hotel, a young Peter Barlow comes in, claiming to be a handyman looking for work, but when Ronnie is distracted by Raphael, the young Peter Barlow slyly takes some photos of fire exits, I think.
Yes.
Back on the street now, Carl is talking to the young Peter Barlow about setting fire to the hotel, but they're spotted by Ronnie, who picks up enough of this conversation to get the gist of what's happening.
Right. And the young Peter Barlow is much more ethical than Carl, because the young Peter Barlow says, I'm not going to light the hotel on fire until everybody's out.
Right. Which kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
When Carl and the bloke go their separate ways, Ronnie deliberately bumps into him, warns him off Carl, and then takes a photo of him, which might be my favourite thing that Ronnie has done in years. It's so clever.
And yet
he's
everything...
so cool as he's doing it as well.
And yet everything Ronnie does, I approve of.
Ronnie says, I'm great with faces, but I'm not all that great with identikits, so
Yeah.
photo taken, how's this?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, pig's tits.
Yeah.
Just
Love
beautifully
it.
done.
Love it.
I absolutely adored
One
that.
of the bright spots in this week.
Oh, seriously, it was.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed those scenes. And Ronnie, all of this week is actually pretty good. Later in the night, we learn that Paula was a punter at the hotel who Debbie barred for getting drunk and disorderly, and we get the sense that she's the sort of person to hold a grudge. In the pub later, Ronnie confronts Carl about all this nonsense, says that your man's not going to give you a call back and any more funny business, and he'll get Debbie to cut Carl out of his life. Carl doesn't think that's going to happen and reveals himself to be her son. Dum dum dum.
Dum dum dum.
On Wednesday, Debbie's like a teenager on her bunk.
Yeah. With her legs up
kicking
in the
her legs
air,
up as she's-
painting her nails,
And she's cutting out photographs.
listening
and
to Debbie Harry.
she's cutting up photographs of teen heartthrobs like Carl and Kev, and she's pasting them onto her wall. She's interrupted when Paula comes in, and we're like, because, Paula's
Right.
got a problem with us. But bizarrely, it turns out that Paula's there to cry on Debbie's shoulder because she's been dumped by her man. And her man sounds like a total nightmare with a penchant for finger pruning.
Ugh.
And Debbie tells Paula so, and then goes on to tell her that she's physically stinking, and she never shuts the fuck up. So Paula hooks Debbie's jaw and has to be pulled off by a passing Lou.
But not like that.
Thank God for Lou. In fact, thank God for Lou this week.
Right, yes.
We need
because
more of Lou.
another bright spot in the week is Lou and Debbie.
Yeah.
Yes. Because Lou is also very gentle with Debbie when Debbie confesses about the dementia.
Mm-hmm.
Lou says, keep that quiet as well because
Yeah, you want to blend
any
in.
sort of weakness
Mm-hmm.
in here people are going to use.
Yeah. So Debbie tells Lou that she has trouble keeping her words in her head and she admits that she feels like she's getting worse. Meanwhile, Ronnie makes it clear to Carl that he doesn't believe him and will be getting the truth out of Debbie later, so he and Kev go a-visiting. Debbie plays down her black eye and Ronnie asks outright if Carl is her son.
Yeah. It's so funny because Ronnie doesn't tell Kev
No. What did they
before
talk about?
they go in.
What did they talk about in the car?
Right. When Ronnie says to Kev, let's go visit your sister. Kev doesn't say, oh, yeah. Why? Any special reason? And Ronnie's like, no.
I'll tell you.
I'll tell you later. Wink.
I'm not telling this story twice, Kev. You're going to just have to shut up and wait.
Ah.
Debbie admits it, and Kev is agog. And naturally, Kev manages to make this all about himself. About how he was lied to his whole life, and he wonders if everyone was laughing behind his back, which would be a strange thing for people to laugh at.
Right, yes. Ha ha. Ha ha.
But he quickly realises that this is the reason that Debbie's covering for Carl. Debbie calls him broken, says Elaine was a fucking nightmare, and doesn't think there was anything else that she could have done for Carl. Kev says that he would happily kill Carl for what he's done to her. And back on the street,
Dum dum dum.
Kev and Ronnie confront Carl. Kev lamps him, and they both tell him that he needs to fess up and get Debbie out of the clink pronto.
And it's so cool the way that happens too, because first Ronnie comes and pushes him against the wall and then steps aside and Kev lamps him. I love it.
Because when Ronnie steps aside, that's where the wee man,
Yes.
the mental wee man is standing behind the big man.
Right, yes. The even more mental man, who is the wee man.
It was
Another highlight of the week.
a well choreographed moment.
Yes.
Yeah, these two are
Loved
great
it.
together.
Yeah, I love the Ronnie Kev tag team. Long may it continue.
Mm-hmm. But you're right, this is another part of the storyline that is being told to make us think.
That Kev's going to kill Carl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kev's not killing Carl.
No. Because
And neither's Ronnie.
No, because then they would go to prison and we wouldn't have them for a number of months. And it's not going to happen.
I don't think anyone's killing Carl.
Which is a shame.
I don't know. That's maintain. He's a horrendous man, but I think he's a good character. And
I feel like we have enough narcissism on the street without Carl.
There are just far too many villains. That's what the problem is.
Yeah.
If you had like half the villains, then having Carl would be no great shakes. But
Right.
because you've got Carl and because you've got these other 4 jokers, and you've got a couple of other ones, it just feels like he's surplus to requirements.
But
I think he's
also-
quite a decent.
We also
classic
have
villain.
other narcissists who aren't villains currently. Like Tracy and Will and Lily.
Lily's not a villain.
No, well, she's not really a villain. She's just a terrible narcissistic child.
Oh, I think she's a villain. Anyway, on Thursday, Debbie's checking out her blackened eye and receives a pleasant visit from Lou. Debbie tells her about the emotional visit with Kevin and Ronnie, but doesn't go into exhaustive detail. Lou says that she's here for her, and the two of them seem to be getting on great.
Yeah, I like these two together.
Yeah.
I think they work really well together. And I'm just so happy Lou is back.
It feels temporary while Debbie's here,
Right, but
but
who knows? Because her kids are still there.
the thing is, when characters really connect with viewers like Lou is doing,
Right,
they tend to make accommodations for that.
right, yes, we get Swain.
Exactly.
Right, and then they ruin the character.
Yeah.
But,
Make
you
them
know.
permanent, then ruin them.
Right,
That's the,
yes.
That's the plan. Meanwhile, Carl is nursing his black eye when Ronnie and Kev burst into his room and literally drag him to the police station to confess. This was a strange plan, though. We're going to grab you by the collar, we're going to take you down to the police station so you confess, and when you get to the police station, the guy that you want to confess goes, nah. In fact, I'm here to report the two of these jokers, for assaulting me. And it's Kit who speaks to them, and Carl quickly complains that Ronnie and Kev assaulted them, so Kit's wondering what he did to deserve any of this, and sets about interviewing them all one by one, but somehow Carl is allowed to leave and go to Nina's roles in a different storyline immediately after this.
Yeah.
The long and short of it all is, though, that the police are going to do fuck all.
Right, yes, because they don't like it when you point out that they did something wrong.
Kev's not going to get charged for hooking Carl, and there's no appetite to reopen Debbie's case. Kit advises Kev and Ronnie to use their brains, and so the two of them decide to act smarter in future, which sounded very much like a thing that Laurel and Hardy would say to each other.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Carl's got his whole love of Jodie in another storyline, much to David's annoyance, and he tells her about Debbie being his mum. She realises that the two of them have a lot in common, and she's here to get what she deserves, but he's here to get everything. And he arranges to meet Debbie in prison tomorrow.
Dum-dum-dum.
Tomorrow comes on Friday, so Carl does indeed go to see Debbie, and they have matching black eyes. She apologises for everything again and tells him that she should have told him earlier. But with her appeal underway, she's confident that she's going to get out of here soon, and when she does, she wants to spend as much time with him as possible. She'll do anything to make it up to him. He's pleased to hear that. He says he wants the same thing, but it's unlikely to happen because he'll be going back to Germany soon. For a start, Kev and Ronnie want him dead, and for second, he's skint. Debbie suspects that he's here to make a withdrawal from the Bank of Debbie, but he says that he isn't, and so she believes that. He says that he wants to take responsibility for his life, and he wants a relationship with her, but none of that's going to be possible. Leave it with me, says Debbie, and she promises to sort him out with some cash. And that's as far as we get with that this week.
Which, it's frustrating because you're so happy that Debbie can see through Carl.
I know, just briefly.
Right. And then turns around and promises him cash anyway. Mm-hmm. It's like, why?
So what was the whole point of the...
Yeah.
You're here to get some more money from the cash cow.
Right. It's kind of the way he manipulated that.
Yeah, you could see it coming right from the start when because he threatens to leave at one point, and she has to encourage him to stay. So he's very much the one that's in control of that whole thing, and
right.
And he doesn't quite lay on the waterworks, but he comes close to it. That he's on the bones of his backside with no money and no prospects, and you're right. It doesn't work with her, and then it does.
Yeah.
And there's nothing much that's
and
linking those two things.
Are we supposed to think that it's the dementia, or is it what he says afterwards about, I'm not really here for money. I just, am at loose ends and I don't know what to do.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure.
And I guess that works where the other part didn't. Like him saying, "Oh no, I'm not asking for money," means that now she'll give him money. I don't know. I don't like Carl. He's so manipulative and narcissistic and has main character syndrome in a big, huge way.
Mm. He's also a liar because he said he was never going to go and see her, and he did.
Right, yeah. But only to manipulate her more and to get something out of her. Because he's a terrible person.
Yeah, as I'm talking through this, we've got Kevin, Ronnie in here, and we've got Lou in here. I actually kind of like Paula a little bit as well, even though she was a bit of a cow.
Yeah.
But there's enough going on in this part of the storyline that makes it, I don't know, it just makes it work better than some of the other parts because there are some positive characters in here, and there is some fun. And it's just unusual to see, or unusual to have Kev in this kind of role in a storyline.
We're rooting for Kev.
I know, it's unusual, and I kind of like it.
Now that he and Abby are never getting back together, now we can root for Kev.
Oh, never say never.
Don't crush my dreams like that.
The next storyline is Bernie out of her Bernies. On Tuesday, Mal's never going to get Roy's rewiring done at this rate as we move into week 2. And he's sitting in Nina's rolls chatting to Brian about the healing properties of rose quartz, presumably so he can get into Bernie's good books. And by good books, I mean pants. Jodie gives Brian the wrong toasty, so Bernie gives her a minor bollocking and tells her to pay more attention. And this is enough to send Jodie scurrying off for a break, the wee poppet. Mal wonders what crystal would help Jodie keep calm. Bernie tells him she's fine. Later, Mal tries to win Bernie over with angel cards that he claims suggest that she should make peace with Jodie. when he goes, Bernie does apologise to Jodie for snapping. Later, Mal bumps into Jodie as she's walking David, and she thanks him and then tells him that Bernie was super impressed with him earlier and says that she lights up around him, which she wasn't and doesn't.
Yeah. Which, I don't know, this kind of feels like something a really sinister person would do. Just winding up random people.
An agent of chaos.
Yes. Maybe winding them up so that when one of them ends up injured in some way, there's an obvious answer as to who has injured them. And then it's not really them, it's Jodie.
This seems oddly specific. I don't know that.
Is it?
Is it as purposeful as that? Because it struck me that she's just doing this because this is what she does. She's a cow and she winds people up.
Right.
And it's not exactly for her personal gain. It's just for her amusement, more or less.
Right, but you also think she's a serial killer.
Oh, yeah.
So
100%.
there has to be an ulterior motive besides just chaos.
I don't know that chaos and serial killing go hand in hand, or they do, but for a serial killer that's caught very quickly.
Where it looks like chaos, but there's actually a method to the madness.
Does she have a plan then? I don't know. Because this is part of her plan, if it is this, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, I guess Shona works there as well, right enough.
Right, yeah. And again, it seems strange because she doesn't really know any of these people.
No, she
But it does feel
barely
like
knows
she's...
David for that matter.
It does feel like she's winding up the people that you don't want to wind up. Like Hope and Mal.
I don't want to wind up Bernie either.
No. Next thing you know, she'll be winding Tracy up.
Well, this is interesting if this is what she's doing. I kind of just got the impression that she's bored and she's a cow and this is what she does. She just annoys people. She tells them lies. She's a pathological liar.
Yeah.
But if there's more method to it than that, then it's maybe a difficult quality to hint to the audience.
Right.
That this is what's happening.
Yeah. But I mean, there is, if you know anything about serial killers, you know, there is par for the course where you kind of wind certain people up or manipulate situations in which you're not the first person that people think of when a person goes missing.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, Mal ups the creepy quotient by asking Hope, Joseph and Chesney for some secrets about Bernie, like little known facts about her and what animal she would be if she had a choice and what her favourite Muppet is and stuff like that.
And her favourite crystal.
According to Joseph, Bernie gave Vernon Kay a piggyback at school, or maybe it was Peter Kay. I think you'd know the difference. On Friday, Mal and Bernie are alone in Nina's Rolls at closing, and he tries to get her to go upstairs for a break and some chat and some peace and quiet or something.
And
she
it's
says
creepy as fuck.
Oh, she's keen to get home to Dev, and he becomes agitated that she doesn't want to spend any time with him. And it looks like he's about to lock the door in Nina's Rolls and lock them in when Brian comes in looking for Roy
Thank
to talk about
God.
a trip to see a starling murmuration. Bernie fucking loves starling murmurations, she says. She pretends that she's interested in this, gets Brian to take a seat. Eventually, Mal takes a hint and fucks off.
Right, yeah.
Promising to be back tomorrow when Roy's rewiring will enter week 3.
Dum dum dum.
And that's as far as we get with that. Yeah, Mal has very quickly turned into the creepy guy that I think we were praising him for not being
right
a couple of weeks ago.
And I mean, the fixation on Bernie is weird, right? It's weird.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's only met her that one time.
And he was drunk and high out of his tits.
Right. And is supposedly married. Granted, to someone who he thinks wants to shag Roy.
And we've never met or heard.
No.
So, at the moment, she doesn't exist.
Yeah. And doesn't wonder where he is?
He's left her.
Supposedly.
Mm-hmm. This woman who doesn't exist.
But still,
In
even
Inverness, remember.
even if he's left her, it was rather abrupt, and I'm sure that, she would be calling to try to talk to him about this, especially if they may be headed towards a divorce. There's things to sort out for that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Mal
Alice-
has issues
Right.
and Alice doesn't exist.
Yes. Because it's also very weird how quickly Mal forgives Roy for this suspected flirtation.
Yeah.
Because he walks in, punches Roy in the face, which Roy takes very well,
Takes a punch.
and then is immediately contrite when Roy explains it.
Yeah, because you think that, well, maybe he's not the sort of person that goes around punching people in the face.
Right.
Who knows?
But still, if you're mad enough at this man to drive from Inverness to Manchester, which even I know is a hike, it's a bit of a hike, you'd be mad for longer, I would think, if you genuinely thought that this was a real thing.
Well, I don't think he drove from Inverness to Manchester just for this. So maybe he did.
What else is there? He is a
I
traveling...
always just assumed he was in the area, but he hangs around after.
Right, he's
this.
a traveling electrician. So,
One of those
which do exist.
electricians that lives in a covered wagon and
Right, yeah. And that sort of thing does exist. Those type of people do exist.
travelling caravan of handymen.
It's like traveling veterinarians who do like livestock and large animals. But anyway, yeah, there's so much we don't know about Mal.
Just like there's so much that we don't know about Jodie, and the two of them are becoming more and more similar as this goes on.
Right. And also, I don't really care about Mal. I care a little bit more about the whole Jodie thing because of Shona and David. But Mal's not really attached to anybody except for this artificial attachment to Bernie.
You don't care about Bernie?
I do care about Bernie, but I don't really care about Mal's backstory and why he's there and why he's sinister.
We don't have time for this, Pish. Is my stance on it.
Well, tell a good... You need to tell good stories here. And you can't tell good stories when you just throw some guy at us that confuses us. And you're not even trying to give him 3 dimensions.
Yeah, we talked about in our other podcast the Barry Cogan character in Crime 101 being a mad sack of rats that's just thrown into the storyline to cause
With
chaos.
bleach blonde hair.
And this feels like a less attractive version of that. But it also feels that there's a lot of examples of this happening at the moment.
Right.
Where you have that.
Too many.
Maybe they're not all agents of chaos, but it feels like there's these little whirlwinds that are happening in multiple storylines all at the same time.
And then we have characters who initially felt like we were gradually getting a full understanding of who they are. And then they just start throwing random stuff at them, like Theo.
Right.
Who we had this understanding as a gay man who has grown up in a situation where he holds a lot of guilt and self-hatred towards himself and has been through conversion therapy and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden he turns into the epitome of evil.
Yeah.
It can't be both.
And also, it's really tough to have the epitome of evil times 5.
Right.
Moving on, Portrait of a Lauren in Love. Just a few scenes on Wednesday and Friday for this. On Wednesday, Ollie is still high on life, but Eva Cakes has noticed an odd behaviour from Maggie, who seems to be involved in the staff schedule and has kept Ollie and Lauren apart. Benny Ben thinks this is a coincidence, but Maggie is happy to admit that Lauren isn't good enough for her grandson and has a misery guts. Well, she's right about that. With a face as sour as a well-spanked arse, and she's probably right about that as well.
Yes, but
Maggie,
look in a mirror.
Maggie approaches Ollie with this and her disappointment that Lauren has a kid and no prospects. At least Dee Dee was a lawyer. She doesn't think this is what Ollie needs from life, but, whatever, please yourself. Ollie insists that Lauren is a laugh, but no one really believes that. On Friday, Maggie's not happy when she sees Lauren and Ollie enjoying life, and later she tells Lauren that Ollie is off into town to fuck some hoes, and isn't he a player who doesn't want to be tied down to some cow with a baby when he has his whole life in front of him.
Oh, fuck off, Maggie.
Seriously.
It's a strange thing to be proud of your grandson for being
a dick?
For being a slag.
Right.
Oh, Ollie, he's a complete slag. What a
Right.
lovely man.
Yes, but because he's a man, he's not a slag.
You still
he's
expect better
he's a man about town.
for your grandson,
I'm
don't
so
you?
proud of him spreading his seed, which is something she actually says.
Sowing his oats.
Yes, spreading his seed.
Oh, no, I get it.
She literally says that. And it's terrible for so many reasons. First of all, like you said, it's essentially calling him a whore.
And it's
But it's
her grandson.
also this whole like double standard where she's praising him for being well wanted by the ladies, but then slags Lauren off for having had many men.
Yeah, I'm not sure what entirely her problem is with Lauren. It seemed to be that she's a sourpuss more than anything with a kid.
I think it doesn't matter. It
No,
doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter. She doesn't want any of her men having anyone before her.
And Ollie says, well, you didn't have a problem with Dee Dee. And Maggie essentially needs to say there, well, I wasn't a character when you were going out with Dee Dee, so my
Right.
opinion at that point was neither sought nor delivered.
Yeah, because she doesn't like Eva. She doesn't like the fictitious Chloe.
No.
And as I pointed out, which I'm sure we'll be talking about soon, she doesn't like Steve.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about new BFFs.
Oh, yes, please, because this is another one of those bright lights in the week.
I didn't feel that way about this. But anyway,
Really?
on Thursday in the pub, Steve and Ben are chatting about the difference between slow up and slow down. It's slow down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tie up and tie down. It's tie up, isn't it?
Well, a tie-up...
And lock up and lockdown, well, that can be both.
Right, yes. Well, you tie someone up, but you tie down like a tent or a
person.
canvas. You don't tie down a person, you tie up
You
a
can
person.
tie a person down, definitely.
But you don't
In fact,
call
I
them...
think there's a Spanish movie called entirely that.
Tie me up, tie me down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's just the English translation.
And how they're all the same. Tim comes in and isn't impressed by this attempt at banter. And later, when Steve's nipped off for a shite after a conversation about the finer differences between football and rugby, Tim warns Ben that Steve's his best mate. Got it?
I also like Steve equating himself with Ben, like, we Irish.
Well, yeah, he says the Irish that's in us because
Both.
Jim, obviously.
Yes. MacDonald.
Sure it is. On Friday at New BFFs, Steve and Ben are playing darts in the pub and having a rare old time that for some reason has been supervised sourly by Maggie.
Oh, fuck off, Maggie.
Later, Steve reveals that Tim is unwell, so he invites Ben to the footy tomorrow. Does this mean that we're going steady, asks Ben. Damn right we are, and the two of them gently winch, again watched by Maggie, the creepy fucker.
Oh, fuck off, Maggie.
Yes.
So what's her problem with this?
Like I said, she doesn't like anybody coming between her and her family, her boys. She's creepy as fuck. Because let's not forget, in that flashback that we got where Maggie murdered her husband, she resented her husband having any interest in his own sons. She's like, you're not allowed to hang out with the kids. They're mine. She's just creepy and controlling and psychotic?
Remember, we're going to love her.
Yes. Oh, you're going to love the Driscolls. They're fantastic. They're such a lovely Irish family with no stereotypes at all.
No. Next week, Maggie's going to tar a driveway. Our final storyline tonight.
And dance a jig.
Yes. Meet the Driscolls. Oh, on Tuesday, Daniel is out and about early, and he bumps into young Sam and bombards him with a barrage of jam-related questions, which was actually kind of funny.
It was.
Sam is keen to know if Daniel and Megan are going to go away for the mid-term break, as he'd like to study at Leanne's. Daniel confirms that they're not. Megan's on the phone to Will when she buzzes Daniel up to the flat. That was interesting that she was, at that moment, on the phone to both of them.
Right.
I haven't seen that much of that flat since there was an enormous picture of Tyrone and Alina in it. She's arranging a secret illicit rendezvous. Daniel is over to moan about Will being the twat who twatted his head. Megan reminds him that Will has an alibi and suggests building bridges instead. How did you get so smart, says Daniel.
Oh.
And while I hate Megan, she really should have stabbed him right there and then.
Yes.
He wants to meet up later and he's super pissed off when she knocks him back in favour of marking her PE essays. In the Rovers, Will is trying to get a green light off of Ben to go and stay at a mate's tonight, but Ben is a firm no way on that, which puts Will in a mood. Privately, Eva Cakes worries that Will's temper makes him prime suspect in Daniel's twatting. Later, Will is trying to smooth things over with Eva when Megan and Daniel come in, and Daniel sort of apologises to Will and they shake hands, and this is seen by Ben, and thanks to this maturity, Will gets the green light he was looking for. He can go and stay at his mates after all. Eva gives him some cash to get a Thai banquet, and Sam sees Will on the phone outside the Rovers clearly talking to Megan, so Sam creeps up on him, freaks him the fuck out, and Will quickly scurries off.
They're very lax parents, aren't they? Like, Will
I
doesn't
think
say...
disinterested is what I'm going to say.
Will doesn't say the name of the mate. Doesn't say where he's staying, who he's staying with. Just a mate.
Mm.
And they don't seem to care enough to say, well, which mate? And how long will you be? And when will you be back in the morning? Mm-hmm. None of the things that, I don't know, a normal parent would say. Right. Do I know their parents? Is there a gun in the house? That sort of thing.
Give me a phone number.
Right.
It becomes clear that Sam is stalking out the Rovers because the next time he sees Will come out, he follows him to Leanne's flat. Will claims that he needs to talk to Megan about how best to run with his big clown feet. When Will goes into the flat, Sam starts a stopwatch and waits. Later, inside, Will's half naked.
Ugh.
Megan tells him to get dressed as she's freaked out that Daniel could come in at any minute. Because just because she said that he can't come over doesn't mean to say that he's not going to come over.
Right, yeah, she knows who Daniel is.
And she's booked him a hotel for the night.
Ugh.
Will's quite keen on the room service. Sam is dragged away by Toya for hanging around the streets at night, but he sees Will come out after 90 minutes inside, so to speak. Megan shits herself that she thinks Sam might have spotted her. Will assures her it's fine, and so they drive off. On Wednesday, Sam sneaks into Leanne's flat and gives Megan the absolute shitters on her way out of the bathroom. Sam apologises several times, explains that he was there to study in peace, and promises to be gone by the time Megan comes home. She leaves him to it after subtly telling him that it's a good idea that he gets a lot of studying done. And he, the cheeky wee scamp, and this isn't problematic at all, leaves a secret camera that he bought from Todd probably, and he hides it. Or does he?
He's not very good at hiding.
It's just next to one of the plants in the living room.
He's not very good at this.
In plain sight.
Yeah.
So in the precinct, Megan and Will are chatting about the Sam situation, and Megan proposes a good cop, bad cop routine, suggesting that Will keeps him close. At the bistro, Nick is pestering Sam about overdoing the studying, but is distracted when Rita and Mary come in. Walk this way, ladies. So everyone walks light-footed across the bistro while crying their eyes out.
Yes.
Then Will comes in and asks Sam if he fancies going to a gig tonight to see a, checks notes, Oasis tribute band. Exactly what the teenagers are into these days. On Thursday, Sam is disappointed when his obviously abandoned camera isn't sending a signal to his phone. Nick continues to helicopter over him and even goes to see Will to see if he has any insights on what's going on in Sam's head. Will says he's fine.
Yeah. Don't go to any of Sam's actual friends, I don't know, Hope.
Well, Will took him to see that Oasis tribute band last night, so that means that they're best friends.
And I guess cousins by marriage?
Yeah. He goes and recounts this to Sam, and Nina rolls later. Fucking hell, Sam, your dad doesn't half cry a lot. And Will invites him to down some vodka straight from the bottle in the precinct. Sam agrees, but vodka it's not really Sam's thing.
No.
This gives Will a chance to quiz Sam on his opinion on Megan and vice versa, but before anything is shared, Daniel happens upon this and Will scarpers. Daniel wonders if Sam has anything he'd like to share, but Sam keeps stum. Later, Daniel has frog-marched Sam to the bistro, where he says that he's just really worried about failing his exams and ruining his life, so Nick bursts into tears and says it doesn't matter as long as he tries his best. But then Nick decides that the best way to help Sam is to drag him to the cinema and lock his phone in the overnight safe so he can't do any secret studying.
On his phone.
Daniel tells
How
Megan...
much studying is Sam going to do on his phone?
He'd do some studying, I think. Daniel tells Megan about all this in the pub later and nearly tells her about what happened to Natasha. But he's interrupted when he needs a shite, and so I don't wind up getting angry about them killing Natasha off for no reason again. Privately, Megan tells Will that he did a good job and invites him over later for treats.
Blah.
I thought this camera was recording things, but it doesn't seem to be. It seems to be just streaming what it's looking at right this minute.
Right.
Because otherwise, what happened that night would have been recorded. And it doesn't seem to be. Because on Friday...
Either that or it recorded and then somebody who had spotted it deleted it and re-recorded.
Who knows?
Or had turned it off and then turned it back on so they could record something else. I don't know. This whole thing is just really confusing. That Sam hasn't had this streaming not just to his phone, but also maybe to his laptop and tablet. Other things that we know Sam has.
I'm also not sure that Sam would put a camera in a flat that... All right enough, he didn't know that Leanne was going to come home
Early.
So that's slightly less creepy. Still quite creepy. On Friday, Will and Megan are nearly caught out when Leanne comes home early, but thanks to using the deadbolt, Will is able to hide before sneaking out when Leanne nips off for a shite when she comes in. The second that she comes in, it's touching cloth here. In the street, Sam is with Toya when Eva Cakes appears and invites her to a girly afternoon sesh with Leanne and Megan. At the bistro, Sam gets his phone back, but it's out of juice, and before he can get it charged, Nick weeps until Sam agrees to help out with some waitering duties because, I don't know, Lionel's dog is vomiting or something. Who fucking cares?
Who knows?
So the ladies are drinking in the bistro, gently ribbing Megan on fucking Daniel's 7 Ways to Sunday at the flat while Leanne was away. Megan goes to order more drinks and takes a moment to whisper.
The whole place smells of sperm.
Yeah, I'll do that. Megan goes to order more drinks and takes a moment to whisper insults and threats at Sam, telling him that no one will believe him if he tries to cause bother, and he's destined to be a waiter for life because he's not as smart as he thinks he is, and he's going to fuck up his exams after handing that one essay in late.
Right, yeah, which is, it's so stupid.
Sam doesn't react, and in fact, barely blinks. Finally, with a charge in his phone, Sam is able to see what's going on in the flat, and what we see here, I think live. So how did they know that?
It's not live. It can't possibly be live. Because Megan's it's still in the bistro.
Oh no, she's left. This is later because Sam is sitting in the booth that the women were sitting in watching this. I'm not entirely sure how any of this is working.
No.
But what Sam sees is a poorly rehearsed and badly acted scene where Will declares his love for Megan, but she tells him it's just a crush. Nothing can happen between them, and she'll only ever be his coach. Oh, pig's tits, says Sam. And then, stupidly, he goes back to retrieve his camera, but it's caught by Megan.
And it's gone.
He criticises her acting and knows that she found the camera. Well, that's an admission as far as Megan is concerned, and she reckons that secretly spying on his stepmother and her makes him a fucking pervert. You're the pervert, says Sam. She says that he could wind up on the sex offenders list at 14, and she tells him to keep his fucking nose out of her business or she'll ruin him. Later, crying in the community garden, Nick sees Sam and asks what's troubling him. Sam says he's fucked everything up and there's nothing that Nick can do to help. And that's how we end this week's episodes.
Yeah.
I had such high hopes for this.
Yeah.
There was a camera.
Right. Yes, but there's been a camera before and it always backfires, doesn't it?
Well, especially when you don't fucking hide it properly.
Right. At least Todd had it hidden in like special picture frames.
Yeah, that was clever.
Right. Until
is
Theo
just-
looks too closely at
This
it.
is a black webcam that's sitting on a shelf
Right.
at eye level in the
Like-
living room.
Yeah, and not even kind of sort of hidden behind things.
Sam really isn't as clever as he thinks he is. But yeah, I had high hopes for this. And really, this is a week where Megan is just deplorable. The
She's
things that she's
genuinely
whispering
evil.
to
Yeah.
him.
And I don't understand why nobody said, why is Megan whispering creepily in Sam's ear? Mm-hmm. Nobody says that.
Wasn't she going for drinks?
Yeah.
Another thing that annoyed me was that she asks for
A
I think
virgin.
three mojitos and one of them to be virgin, but it's Nick who brings the drinks over, and he doesn't ask who the virgin drink's for.
Right, yeah.
And there was a scene earlier on where she's checking her belly
Uh-huh.
in the mirror.
Yeah.
I presume she is pregnant then,
Eh.
and she's asking for the virgin mojito,
Right.
but maybe doesn't get it because I wouldn't trust Nick
Hmm.
to get people's orders right. And she doesn't say when she's ordering it who the virgin one is for,
Right.
which I know isn't the most important thing that's
Right.
happening in
And
this story.
also
but-
the jig would be up if Nick came over and said, who had the virgin?
Exactly.
Because then everybody would look at her and say, I thought you got an abortion.
Yeah. Because
But-
if she's drinking non-alcoholic cocktails,
She's obviously pregnant.
Leanne is definitely going to think that she's still pregnant.
Right. As is Toya, who also knows about the pregnancy.
But how long ago was that?
It's like a month.
Like a month ago?
Yeah.
So maybe she wouldn't be showing then.
She wouldn't really be showing yet. But, you know, they're also giving her a hard time and assuming that Daniel was in the flat while Leanne was gone.
Because of the sexy smells.
Right. And it'll be very easy for them to give Daniel a hard time and Daniel to say, wait a second, that wasn't me.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to bring up though. Hey Daniel, I smelt your semen in the flat the other night.
Right. Yeah. But, you know, give him a gentle ribbing about, oh,
You ate some asparagus, didn't you?
snuck into my
Or pineapple.
flat. You're in my flat shagging Megan. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Your little wee love nest.
I took the old black light to the flat the other night, Daniel, and you'll never guess how much your semen it picked up.
I mean, obviously not like that, but it does feel like something that maybe they will rib Megan about again in front of Daniel.
I think it was very purposeful that they were doing that, and yeah, I think it's going to come up again. But
Right. But
this has got 2 months left to go, so who knows?
right. And I mean, it's also obviously eventually going to come out that Chloe was never in Weatherfield as well. You know, there's so many things that can obviously uncover this lie very easily. And I also I don't understand, because I feel like if Megan and Will had just left Sam alone, Sam wouldn't be trying so hard to prove that they are having sex. Because let's not forget, Lauren had her suspicions as well. And then just kind of got over it.
I'm not entirely sure why Sam cares so much.
Well, because he's got a very strong sense of justice. You know, he's much like,
He also wants to pass his exams, though.
right. Yeah. Not that Megan's going to be grading those exams. And I don't understand why he seems to think that he's not going to pass those exams. Because he's always been a very confident kid and confident in his beliefs. I don't know.
I think as well, with this having so much heat and light on it from Lauren and from Sam, that maybe Megan and Will would, I don't know, fucking cool it for a little bit.
And yet, they seem to be in the danger zone
Yeah, they're
all the time.
They're testing the limits of this more and more.
Way too much.
Have we forgotten about Will's friend Lee and what that seemed to cause some uncertainty in Will, and that's all been forgotten.
Well,
and another thing
remember-
that's been very, very much forgotten is Tim's grooming, which was supposedly
Well, we
part
thought
of this, and we thought it was maybe linked, but
it doesn't
that's
seem.
never been mentioned
That's never
for
been mentioned
months.
again. Remember, Megan says to Will, "Oh, he just had a crush on me, but I didn't have a relationship with him the way that I have a relationship with you." And because Will is narcissistic and doesn't have a fully formed prefrontal cortex, he's gonna believe her.
even when
He's got
he
to
is
believe her.
reenacting that conversation badly for Sam's benefit.
Right. Yeah. He's not a smart kid.
No, he's not. He did seem drunk when they were talking in the precinct. That whole part of it was very confusing, and the part where he's going to the gig. I don't know if that was supposed to be Sam trying to get information out of this, or if it was genuinely if Sam looks at it as being a potential friendship or something. It was just, I don't know. It's very conflicting. This whole storyline between the essay and the studying and the grooming and the friendship all seem to be getting kind of muddled up in the middle, and I'm not sure who's thinking what at what time here, especially Sam.
Right. Who knows?
I guess we'll see. Well, that was the week that was Coronation Street.
Ugh.
Do you know, I enjoyed talking about it much more than I thought. I was not looking forward to this. I didn't really enjoy this week
Yeah.
very much at all.
It kind of surprised me that there were so many points of light for me.
Yeah. But what was your moment of the week?
Well, we didn't really talk about what we wanted for what we talked about having moment of the week is Rita and Brian talking about Emily.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, we didn't mention it though.
It didn't mean anything. It wasn't part of any storyline.
No, but it was nice. And it's
Yeah,
nice
I liked that.
Yeah, that's our moment of the week.
I think this is a good old-fashioned Coronation Street moment of the week.
Yeah.
It's nice that Emily gets a mention.
Yes.
It's kind of amusing that she's sending religious memes to Rita for no reason.
Right.
And it's even more amusing that Rita's going to forward it on to Jenny.
Yes.
That's our
Moment of the week.
Moment of the week.
your boring moment of the week.
White tights.
It really was, Mary. And I'm so sad to hand out a boring moment of the week to Mary.
But
That, and to be fair, this really was this moment and that other moment where she was arguing with Brian in the pub about something stupid as well. It was like, I just don't know if
it
this...
was still arguing about the book, wasn't it?
That was a few weeks ago,
Oh, yeah.
whatever they were arguing about then. But yeah, the white tights thing,
Yeah, because it just
just
wasn't funny.
it really wasn't. That was our
Boring moment of the
Sorry,
week.
Mary.
a Mary boring moment of the week. Whatever
In
next.
in fairness, part of it was Brian.
So we've been looking to Brian for comedy moments.
Right.
Like getting hit in the head by a number of tins of beer, for
Right.
example.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Chesney is saved this week.
as is Daniel, because I thought as soon as Daniel said, "Who died to made you a smart aleck," or whatever it was that he said
Right.
to Megan, was just absolutely
It's
appalling.
deplorable.
Yeah.
Yay!
All right, let's see what our Twitter followers thought about this week's show then. This actually surprised me a little bit. I expected a bit more strength of opinion, but the voting in terms of yay, meh, or zzz for this week are zzz 40.2%, meh 41.1%, and yay 18.7%. So very much split between the meh and the zzz. Not a huge amount of love, but a bit more apathy than I was expecting. Holly says Monday's ep was awful. Maggie trying to look hard outside the pub in those weird scenes was enraging, but there were funny bits with Rita and Mary that helped. Ryan is the hardest working man in Weatherfield, and nice to see Lou back too. Would be nice to see her back on her own, in my opinion. Ali says, Aussie Ali, this is.
Oi, oi, oi.
agrees with that, says, needs more loo.
Yes.
Truth and Hope says, looks like X says, no more, currently 77% of the 1%. And Chris says, I've enjoyed the beginning of the build-up to the Who Gets Done In and the side story with Brian and Lily. So, well, that's excellent. I'm glad that
Somebody
people are
likes
enjoying
that.
it. Of course, we do not let those scores or opinions influence us as we give out our score, Helen. So I invite you now to tell me what your score out of 10 is.
4. You know, when a week doesn't start well,
It's an uphill battle, isn't it?
right? Yeah. And while there were points of light, they weren't enough. And as you pointed out, the Brian and Rita point of light isn't really about the story.
3.5 for me.
Oh my God, lower than me. Here I was feeling bad about the 4.
I really didn't like Monday, and I really didn't like Wednesday either.
No.
I struggled quite a bit throughout most of this week, but I was glad that, you know, as you sit and you talk about things, you know, maybe this wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And there were, as you said, more moments of light than we perhaps initially thought. So that's good.
Yes.
All right, let's wrap this one up then. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast: Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine Tingy, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry and LA, Joe T, Corey Dales, Matthew McKenny, Welsh Emma, Matthew S, Rachel B, Uranium Jennifer, Catherine Montiero, Gary Heatley, Pam but not that one, Una, Amy, Jenny Rowell, Ozzy Ali, and Chris Horrocks. Thank you very much indeed, folks. We very much appreciate your support. If you've ever read The Woman in White, write in to tell us about it. We're the talk of the street at gmail.com, and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky, or you can reach us the old-fashioned way, the talk of the street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one. And in this month's classics, we're talking about episode 2284. Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast. Find all the links at corriepodcast.com, and be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
Everybody sucks here.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
Talk of the street.
The Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.